If you'll remember, a couple weeks ago, I uploaded this video and it was all about the Bible Lab. And I was saying how the Bible Lab wasn't like a Bible study, it was something different. And I had a friend, which I'm so grateful for. She Marco Polo'd me and she's like, Melissa, I have watched your video twice and I'm trying to wrap my head around what you're talking about. And it sounds like a Bible study. And that was so helpful because, which by the way, I'm making dinner. We have friends coming over. I'm trying to get this recorded, plus have food on the table by 6 p.m. and we're just running late here. I can barely do two things at once, so this is a bad idea, but that's never stopped me before. But it got me thinking and I was like, you know what? She's right. And the reason I know that she's right, meaning I did not articulate it well, is because I could not articulate why there is a difference in my own mind. I'm not going to wave this knife around. Why there's a difference in my own mind between a Bible study and this Bible Lab experiment. So I'm going to give it a shot right now to see if this makes some sense. When I think of a Bible study, I think of destination. We know where we're starting. We know where we're going. We're guided along the path to get there, and it's great. I love them. But that's not what I'm talking about. Bible Lab, what I hope it will become, is not a destination. It's more like this. When you were little, did you ever explore the woods with your friends? My grandmother lived in the mountains of Virginia, and we would go there every summer, and my nieces and nephews were all around my age. And so I would, with my oldest nephew, Victor, we would explore the forest, and we just thought it was the best thing ever. It just felt like we were off on our own adventure. Who knows what would have been around the bend? I mean, the possibilities were endless in this forest. If we had a picture for the Bible Lab, what the picture would be a forest. And it would be less Bible study and more Bible exploration. Now, why does that matter? Good question. Because as this new, very baby community begins, I want us to remember that we are exploring the Bible with no destination, at least not one that we know, and we are looking for treasure. Like, that is what we're doing. We are looking for treasure, and the treasure is not a Bible study. The treasure is not knowing how to study the Bible better, although that's good. That's not our treasure we're looking for. The treasure is not becoming knowledgeable so that when we talk about the Bible, we sound like we know what we're talking about. The treasure is Him. We are looking for Him. And I think my problem, I can just be persnickety. I mean, let's just be honest. But the problem that I have with the word Bible study is that it is focused on the Bible and study, and I want us to focus on exploration and Him, finding God, seeing God. Treasure is looking for and finding more of Him. In this forest that I'm talking about of exploring, I mean, He's everywhere. There are little treasures all in this forest, and it is all about us finding them. And not just finding them, but finding them together. And that's the real key, because when we head into this forest with one another, we are going to have more eyes, ears, hands, feet, spiritual giftings to be able to do this with one another. This is not just one person telling us where to go, or one person having carved out the path and then we all just sort of trot along the path. No, instead, it's about exploration, because we want to discover through the pages of the Bible, we want to discover more of who He is. This is the idea for Bible Lab, and I have no idea how it will work, but there's been a couple things bothering me. We've assembled about 11 or 12 of us that will start meeting face to face. That's not bothering me. That's fantastic. Problem number one that is bothering me is you aren't there. But most of you, or many of you at least, don't live in Lynchburg. And I'm like, I just have no idea how to loop you in. And the reason, I mean, more than just you watching what happens on YouTube, which I hope you will get to do, and we will do that. I actually want to hear your voice. I want to see your face. I want to get your ideas. I want your input, because just like exploring the woods together, we are always better together. And this thing will be a group project of creating it. The women who are assembled will be a part, their fingerprints will be all over this thing. I hope your fingerprints will be all over this Bible Lab by the time it's said and done. I hope. Again, it may not work, and we'll just have to see. So that was problem number one. Leaving you out of it, I didn't like it. Today's sponsor of this video is Lifeway Christian Resources. Lifeway equips you to carry out your calling with lots of... Okay. Lifeway is not sponsoring this. Actually, who's sponsoring this and who has sponsored every other video that I have ever created is Jared Martin Dunn, my husband. He's been growing his hair and trying to help me grow this channel since the summer of 2020. His hair was slightly more successful than his channel. Bless him. He encouraged me to quit my job, where there was actually like income coming in, to make videos on YouTube for free. I mean, never a grumble, never a complaint, nothing but supportive. But it's been in the last couple months. Yes, we're eating this much cheese. Not that much though. I learned this little trick from Sarah Gosnell. It's basically cheese salad. But it's been in the last couple months. I'm like, I don't feel good about the sustainability of this. I can't keep doing this and sustaining it with having him carry the load of it. And that feels like a problem. I was at lunch with my nephew Tim, and I'm telling him these two problems. And we kind of come up with this idea of, well, wait a second. What if problem number one of wanting you guys in on a Bible Lab, problem number two is this channel needs to stand on its own 2 feet to do stuff like music costs money, website costs money, Canva to make the graphics costs money. I pray over my iPad every time I edit because it is on its last leg and I'm using really inefficient app to do this editing, but I don't want to spend $300 on the software and $1,500 on a new iPad. I can't do that. The idea is, well, what if we take these two problems and give it one solution that solves both problems? All right, hang on, we got to get the burgers ready. So, what if it was possible for you to hop in to Bible Labs behind the scenes? This would mean that I would get to see your face, hear your voice, get your opinions. I would get to tell you where we're at, what we're doing, what we're experimenting with, what's working, what's not working, all of those things in a real way using something called Marco Polo channels. Now, you might know what Marco Polo is, but they have a new feature and it's called channels. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail because I don't know if we're actually going to do it yet. That's going to depend on you. But basically, it would give us access to talk back and forth to one another. And that would be for $5 a month, $5 a month to join the behind the scenes on the Bible Lab so that this little mini channel can get funded and so that I can get your feedback. And what I hope is that you will benefit from being around other women who love God and love the Bible and want to explore and want to learn how to love Him more. So the question becomes, are you interested? And if you are, if you could do one of two things, if you could like this video or both, comment below and say, yeah, I'm interested. And you saying you're interested does not mean that I'm like, oh, well now she's definitely in. Lindsay's definitely in because she said, no, I just want to get a general sense of how many of you are interested in possibly doing this. You are not committing to anything. And if you don't want me to see your name because you're like, I don't know, maybe I would, I'm not sure, then just like the video, then it's anonymous. Either way, that will help me because I've got a number in my head. And if there's X amount of people interested, I will move forward with it. I'm really excited about the possibilities with this Marco Polo channels of what we could do together, but it may not be time. I'm testing the waters. I'm seeing what that feels like to you. So this is my invitation to join me on the Bible Lab, behind the scenes, to see if we can make this thing work. What do you say?